All right. Yo, what is up? What's good? How we doing today? Happy Saturday. Right, let's turn this guy around. So this is it. This is the end of the Closer Look series. Wah! So there's a couple of reasons why I wanted to end with feminine sensory. First, I do not have it. And I've been like putting it off as long as possible, to be honest. The second reason is that it just doesn't, it's not that I don't understand it. It's that for whatever reason, for a lot of cultural biases, for a lot of personal biases, it's something that I've always had a lot of difficulty articulating objectively. So, when I say when I get into the video, you'll know what I mean, right? The short version is I grew up around a lot of feminine sensory, and as somebody who doesn't have feminine sensory but has masculine sensory really strong as a demon, it's something that I've always like butted heads with without really understanding why. So again, there's a lot of loaded emotional energy. And the third reason is that masculine sensory you can talk about a lot more easily by itself. Like you can look for masculine sensory reasonably easily. There's a lot of masculine sensory examples in life. A lot of Western civilization is built around, the Jockos of the world, and just capitalism and patriarchy in general is very like smash on the sensory. And so as a result, we have a lot of examples of that. And it's not that there aren't examples of feminine sensory, but there aren't as many examples of feminine sensory that we laud and exalt, right? We tend to, again, because our culture tends, on the whole, at scale, to minimize femininity and women and feminine expressions of emotion and artistry and all of those things. The result is that there aren't as many, like I can't just rattle off 19 feminine sensory bands to go and listen to. It just doesn't, it doesn't translate as well, right? But I wanted to use this opportunity to talk about masculine sensory versus feminine sensory and sort of fold it into a larger conversation about sun energy and moon energy. And I may do a whole ass separate video on this, again, now that I'm done with the Closer Look series. But I think that it really does sort of tie into all the sexual modality stuff and all of the, like, what are we tracking? And particularly, how can we use this in our own lives to make progress in life, to make the world better for us and for those around us? So let's get right into it. Man, feminine sensory, right? What a trip. So one thing that I have said before when it comes to the sensory, if you're thinking of it on a spectrum, I think the easiest way to think of it is think of hockey versus figure skating. That's it. If you want to substitute ballet for figure skating or football for hockey, whatever, but let's stick with the ice sports. We all have a visceral understanding of what the fuck hockey is about, right? We also, whether we want to admit it or not, we get what figure skating is all about. So if you can think of that as being your spectrum, that alone, like honestly, I feel like I could stop the video right here and be like, masculine sensory hockey, feminine sensory ice skating, figure skating and ice dancing, done. But let's dig into it a little bit more. When I think of feminine sensory, I think of graceful. I think for whatever reason, it feels very French to me, right? They throw the consonants at the ends of the words, and there are lots of vowels, and some of them do things, and some of them do not. But it's very about the sensual and the perfume and the graceful and the light and the ballet and the revolution. Oh, I don't know, whatever. We went into a weird place. Sorry. But that kind of a thing, right? There's a sensory delicacy to the feminine sensory. There's a sophistication to it that quite explicitly masculine sensory lacks. It's not that masculine sensory lacks nuance, but it is ham-fisted, right? It's where we get the phrase ham-fisted from, because it doesn't, right? It's not a surgeon with a scalpel. And it's not this swooshy, delicate, aerial silk energy that's just, that treats the sensory so delicately and preciously, and it shapes and it just, right? That's feminine sensory energy that I whole ass do not have. I can clown with it. I can sort of do it for a second as an example, but that is not my energy. I just, as somebody with masculine sensory who embraces his masculine sensory, and who, quite frankly, has had to learn to be like, oh no, this actually does get shit done in real life. This isn't like, feminine sensory is not the only good version of the sensory. We'll get to that in a second. It's been really hard for me to be like, I can't do the feminine sensory thing. I wish I had the language at the time when I was in the dance world and the musical theater world to be able to go like, I know what you think you're asking me to do. I don't do this. I don't feminine sensory. I don't visual fucking anything. If you want me to show up and just fucking crush it, I will do that every time, no questions asked. But I can't give you this like visual thing without a fuck ton of effort that, quite frankly, everyone else in the room can naturally do better than me. So why am I even here? Call me when you need someone to, like, I don't know, punch somebody in the face, right? Call me for the, and it's funny, like the dance sequences that I have done have all been in, that I like, again, feel really good about, that it resonated in the room, whatever. It was all very like country western, folk dancing kind of stuff, like real grounded, barrel turns, like athletic, like, to borrow from the Birdcage, right? Martha Graham, and Fosse, and Michael Kidd, Michael Kidd, he's a choreographer. He did Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, and he was known for this really, like, what they called athletic dancing. But all it means is that it was very grounded. It was masculine sensory dancing, right? It was swinging the skirts and like punching at the sensory. Ow, I hit my hand on the desk. Anyway, that's right. That's masculine sensory, as opposed to, so there's a great clip. I'm just going to throw out names. Feel free to rewatch this as many times, because I can't, it's hard for me to like type in the chat and I can't comment as easily here. Look at, there's a performance from the 2018 Tonys. It's either 2018 or 2019. Now I gotta find it. That's just gonna piss me off. Wow, way off. 2017. No, wait, hang on a second. I'm gonna do this wrong. I gotta find it. My masculine sensory needs to know the date. Okay, 2018. Okay, I'm not insane. Oh, thank Christ. Okay, 2018. Right, because Hadestown won in 2019. 2018 Tony Awards. Look at the performance of the band's Visit. They do a song called Omar Sharif. It stars a woman named Broadway veteran Katrina Lenk. It's like A Tribe Called Quest. You got to say the whole thing. Broadway veteran Katrina Lenk is a friend of mine from back in the day. She is an extraordinary human. Like, holy fuck. This woman is the real deal. She's probably going to win another Tony for company, or she's certainly going to get nominated. She's fucking brilliant. Like, she's amazing. So check out Katrina Lenk, but Katrina Lenk, feminine sensory to hell. And I think, again, I don't know Tony Shalhoub personally. I'm loosely familiar with his work. But particularly watch Broadway veteran Katrina Lenk. Because Broadway veteran Katrina Lenk has feminine sensory for days. And if you watch her, you'll see the subtlety and the nuance with the sensory that I whole ass do not have. The flip side of my masculine sensory is that I have a lot more nuance when it comes to the abstract. It is not laser focused as much, right? When it comes to the abstract and ideas, I can pull from a million different places and weave this intellectual abstracty thing, right? Because the sensory is concrete. With a feminine sensory, you're weaving a physical tapestry with this strand of blue, with this strand of green, and this strand of yellow, and it comes together, and then it's a little bit more, the green blends into the red, which blends into the orange, right? And it's like swoosh-a-doosh like that, but it's a physical tapestry. But the idea of it, that's concrete. That is, no, like I know what the idea, like I see it in my head, what the fuck it's supposed to look like, the platonic ideal, right? I think of feminine sensory / masculine intuition as being much more in the platonic, the platonic ideal, like the form, the ideal form of a thing, right? Like the abstraction of the number 4, like what is 4, right? It's that laser focus when it comes to the abstract and how it manifests in reality. There's flexibility there. And it fucking matters. You take responsibility for it, but there's a fluidity to it. Watch Jackie Chan, anything he fucking does. And that dude, so I'm 99% sure he's double feminine, but he definitely has feminine sensory. And just the way that he moves his body, it is like water. Again, I don't know. I haven't typed Bruce Lee. I don't remember what they've typed him as, but Jackie Chan, I know they've typed as double feminine. And he's got that there's like a Gumby-ish nature, right? That masculine sensory that like your Jake Gyllenhaals of the world, that your Sylvester Stallones of the world, right? Your Joel Edgerton. I'm just thinking of like people who have been in boxing movies, because that's like fucking masculine sensory, literally punching you. Right? The Ron Perlman, Sons of Anarchy motherfuckers, like those guys, they're not delicate with the sensory. They're not weaving a physical tapestry together, right? The way that feminine sensory is. Another example, so there's a prominent community member, one of my favorite people in the world, Lindsay Johnson. Go check out her YouTube channel, Lijo. She is take how masculine sensory I am. That is how feminine sensory she is, right? If you watch her videos, you really see, again, because she's a lead blaster, you're gonna get a lot of that masculine intuition from her. And she is like pinpoint laser focus on like that, like this idea. I will fucking cut through the mountain. I do not give a shit because my idea is perfect and right. And to be perfectly honest, she's not often very wrong. I'm just saying, she's not often that wrong. So maybe listen to the masculine intuition, masculine sensory guys. They can help you out a little bit, right? But watch someone like her she also does a lot of work with like aerials and silks, which is another realm of this like feminine sensor, right? The silk, it's not that it's not real. It's not that it isn't strong. It's not that it isn't stable. It's not. We tend to attribute these characteristics of strength and stability and right robustness to the masculine sensory, which is not totally untrue, but like that's not the sole purview of masculine sensory. If you have ever seen a human being hang from silk, you know how fucking strong silk is. There's no argument there, right? And similarly, if you have ever, oh my God, if you have ever gotten a shitty handshake, right? If they give you the fucking limp wrist, like, and not the dainty, like, I've got to shake your hand, you grab my hand, right? Kiss the, it's not, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the bullshit fucking dead fish handshake. It's like, would you fucking masculine sensory, like, this is a masculine sensory exercise, fucking shake my hand, right? There's no, it's not robust and strong versus wimpy. That ain't it. It just fucking isn't. It's not how this works. It is, are you shoving or are you like, are you more shoving or are you more yielding and reflecting? That's it. And again, we apply that to the sensory, which is why anecdotally, and now it's getting to the point where they can really start to prove this, feminine sensory, beyond being visual, right, which again goes back to this like the shape. Think of like, I almost started voguing for the thumbnail, but I went with the more goofball approach. And also I can't, like, if I just do this, people may not know what I mean, right? But like, fucking watch RuPaul, right? Watch RuPaul's Drag Race. Watch Jonathan Van Ness on Queen. That motherfucker is feminine sensory to hell, I think. Though I'm not. See, you know what? Let me walk that back with JVN, just because I think that it might just be his absurd amount of feminine FI coming through. I'm walking it back on JVN. I'm 50-50. I want to say he's feminine sensory. My gut says feminine sensory, but I can't actually prove it. You can, I'm trying to think of other just like things I can throw out. Like, definitely RuPaul. Watch anything of Drag Race. Honestly, a lot of dance. I was going to say Alvin Ailey. There, again, just go to the Alvin Ailey Facebook page. You can find lots of videos of Alvin Ailey. There's a dance company. You do get some feminine sensory in that, right? In a lot of those works, but there's also there is a masculine sensory component to it. So that might be something to watch if you're wanting to see something that has a little bit of a blend of it. Any figure skating is just feminine sensory to hell. Just the most, the fucking costumes and the glitter and the visual shape, the visual component matters in that art form, right? Same with a lot of musical theater. I'm not going to say all, but a lot of musical theater is very feminine sensory. Hamilton has a little bit more of a masculine sensory bent to a lot of it, but it also has elements of feminine sensory in some of the graceful lifts and the dancing. But yeah, look at New York City Ballet. Ballet is an extraordinarily feminine sensory expression of athleticism, right? Even the men folk, you will see, we're not throwing these women across the stage, right? We are lift and hold and then gently place down, right? That's a little bit more of the feminine sensory. So I want to pivot now to this concept of sun energy and moon energy, which I did get from JVN. So, kudos to that guy. And that's something I've really been thinking about, because I think that in order to understand either of the sensories fully, you have to understand the opposite, right? Which means you have to zoom out even further and understand, like, okay, what is sun energy and what is moon energy? What is their job? What are they trying to do? How do they balance each other? So we're getting in a little hippy dippy land. So like ISTPs who are watching this, I know what I am saying is factually, scientifically not entirely accurate. I am aware of this. We are going into NF land. Disclaimer. So, broadly speaking, the job of sun energy is to nourish, it is to energize, it is to vitalize, it is to like push people out of their comfort zones in a positive way, right? The job of moon energy, so sun energy, also called yang energy, right? That's the masculine. That is getting people out of their comfort zone. That is shoving. That is pushing. That is, that's the fire type energy, right? Moon energy, yin energy, feminine energy. So moon energy reflects, right? So it takes the sun, the light from the sun, and then reflects it onto other things, right? It also cools, right? So if the sun energy is getting too hot in the room, the moon energy cools it down, right? And if the moon energy is making things a little bit too cool, right, and we're getting into like drowning you in tidal wave territory, the sun energy can come up and be like, no. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Let's not get bogged down in the bullshit, right? So the two really have to balance each other. And being able to be in touch with not only your natural energy, what you want to lead with, but also understanding how you can have that balance within you, how you can bring that balance into any room you go into, is an extraordinary advantage. I feel very, very lucky that my play energy, right, which is my double activated function, is double activated feminine TE. So I got that moon TE, but I also have that sun SE. So the two of them can work together and sort of be like, okay, yeah, this room needs a little bit more masculine energy, so I can lean on that a little harder if that's right for the room. Or I can be like, ooh, there's a lot of machismo here today. Okay, word. And then my feminine TE can be like, okay, fellas, let's calm down. Let's all put our dicks away. It's fine. We all have big dicks. We're good. Let's cool it off a little bit. And honestly, in both situations, if you can come in and be that balance, people want you in every fucking room they can get you in. Because every time that happens, right, whether it's, so to use, I'm just going to use two examples. My former job, a lot of moon energy. Not just a lot of women who happen to be in the company, but a lot of feminine women and moon energy centric women. And a lot of the processes had ossified, and it was just, we were just reflecting what other people were saying without actually doing anything. And the light was starting to dim, because when you reflect back and forth, and eventually, like, you need new sun energy to reflect again, right? The sun energy has to like catalyze what it is you're reflecting, right? And it's the job of sun energy to know when, like, oh no, we need a little bit more energy, or to be able to say, you know what, you guys got plenty of energy. I'm going to put my energy elsewhere. That's the job of a responsible, mature sun energy, is to know when he is not needed or wanted, and to be able to like, hey, I'm sun. Oh, my bad. Y'all got it. Bye. And then just peace out. Nobody's going to be mad at you. Nobody's going to be mad at you as long as you leave right away when you know that that is not necessary, right? And then similarly for moon energy, responsible moon energy comes into a room and is like, Okay, guys, let's all come. Oh, we're calm. Oh, great. Okay, so I don't need to reflect. That's not my job right now. I need to sun energy. I need to bring this. Hey, Bradley, how's it going, buddy? Like, I need to bring that sun energy into the room because that's what we need right now to get us back towards equilibrium, right? Because you want it to be like burst of sun energy, like light burst of sun energy, light burst of right. You want this sine wave, right? This rolling with the homies kind of sine wave, this G-Funk era sine wave of sun energy and moon energy, man. Side note, so like now that I've been in LA, I kind of like the Beatles now, which is wild because like obviously I always was like, yeah, man, they're the Beatles, whatever. But now that I'm here and I was driving home through from the valley through Laurel Canyon to my apartment in Hollywood. And I was like, I was gonna play like on Pandora, like the Birds radio station, BYRDS, right? Because they're like a Laurel Canyon group and that like 60s groovy vibe, man. And they started playing the Beatles, and I was like, whoa, that's so groovy, man. And I started thinking about it, and that's sort of why I finally felt inspired to make this feminine sensory video, because I was like, oh yeah, like if we're like really trying to balance sun energy and moon energy, it's about understanding like it's just a groove, man. We're just rolling with the homies. Like it's fine. Like we're good. Right? And if you can have that balance in you and you can come in, now you can be in any room. Now there's no room that you're not wanted in, or that people are gonna be like, that motherfucker, right? Because if they see you for long enough, right, you show up, like, again, I lead with a lot of sun energy. Like, that's just who I am. I embrace it. I love it. I'm not gonna fight it up front, right? I'm gonna lead with my sun energy because it feels good, it feels strong, it feels authentic. And that's sort of my default mode of like, in the absence of other information, lead with sun energy. And then you lead, and then you listen. And then you're like, boom, burst of sun energy. See what the room is doing, right? And if you can't, look, again, Magical Christmas Land, you can walk in, read the room first. Sometimes that is not possible, right? Sometimes you go in there and you're the first one there. It's your job to set the tone. You are in a position of leadership. You don't really have that luxury of being able to listen. That's what I'm talking about. Obviously, if you can walk in and read the room first, that is ideal. That is not always possible. Sometimes you just got to make a move, right? So if I'm in a position where it's like, all right, I got to make a move, I'm leading with sun and then sitting back and being like, okay, I gave some sun. Let's see what the room does with it. And if there's already a lot of sun, then I can be like, cool. At the very least, I don't have to add more sun energy to the room. We're good. The room is fine without it. I'm just gonna, hi puppy. That's not my dog. It's the neighbor's dog. Like, I'm now gonna take on the moon energy role and be like, all right, let's reflect. Let's reflect this thing, right? And if somebody steps out of line, they make a joke that's a little crude, right? Little inappropriate, whatever. I can be like, let me reflect that back at you. Let me show you what you said, right? Let me make a stank face at you so that I can signal like, hey, man, that was a little over the line. Not bad, but like, let's walk it back a little bit, right? Moving forward, we have found the line. That is slightly over it. Just try to stay behind it, right? Conversely, there have been other rooms where I walk in, I throw some sun energy in the mix, and then the moon energy people in the room are like, oh my God, sun energy, yes. And they start reflecting it and shit starts to happen. Now I'm like, dope. I have given my burst of sun energy. My job is now to chill the fuck out for a second and wait for them to need more sun energy from me, right? So boom is like burst of sun energy. I now come in. It's not even really my job to reflect it yet. If they throw it to me, then I'll reflect the energy. But like, I've already done my job. We're good. I made my move. Now I get to back off. They bat around the sun energy. They get real pumped up about it. And when they start to sort of like, right when you can tell that the energy is starting to wane, boom, another hit of sun energy. And they're like, all right, great, let's fucking do it. And if they're like, we can burn a little hotter, right? The room will tell me that. All right, great. I now have the freedom to just keep turning up the heat. Again, turn it up, listen, turn it up, listen, turn it up, listen. Eventually they'll be like, all right, now we're cooking. Now we're good. We don't need more heat. We just need to stay at this level. And my job is to go, great. As soon as I see you dip, I'm going to add it back. Dip, add it back. Dip, add it back. And now, right now you're reading the room. And I say read the room a lot. And that to me means a couple of things. It means using all of your functions. It means using all of your animals. But it really comes down to understanding the sun energy and moon energy dynamic and being able to go, what does the room need right now? Does it need sun or does it need moon? Does it need yang or yin? Does it need masculine energy or feminine energy? Like, and if you can get that down and you can start to feel really comfortable, not only with yourself, but being able to read situations accurately, now you're making moves. Now you're making the room better. And people don't even know fucking why. All they know is like, when this guy's in the room, shit gets done. And I don't totally understand it because when he's not in the room, we are not nearly as productive, right? Well, the reason why y'all are productive when I'm in the room is because for whatever reason, the gift that I was given by the universe above all other gifts is the ability to navigate masculine and feminine energy, right? I just fucking know how to do that. So let me leverage that and like use that certainly more than my brawn, but also more than my brain. Like, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. There are a million people in the world who are way fucking smarter than me, who can TI and TE and NI and like they can do all that shit to a level that I am not even close to. But navigating the masculine and the feminine, now we're talking. That's my shit, right? And I think that it is something, and the reason why I harp on it so much is not only because it's a strength of mine, it's something I really appreciate and enjoy exploring. It's something that's so universal, man. Like, we all understand masculine and feminine energy. We have for years. It's not a new thing, man. And we can get into that like archetypal space, right? That Jungian collective unconscious space. And now we know that we can connect with anybody. And, one thing that people have said about me, which I think it's true, but I also think it's very kind of them, is when they say like, man, Raja, you can talk to anybody. Like, you really can talk. Holy hell, FI. Let me bring some TE to the table, like whatever it is. And I'm not always right. There are plenty of times I guess wrong, and then I adjust. I'm like, oh, nope, that is not, oh boy. Yeah, a TE is not what this conversation needs at all. Try again, Raja. Oh, right. Okay, yes. We want to have an FI peas in a pod conversation. Great, right? Again, that just comes with time, like the nuance of it. But if you can tap into the masculine and feminine side of things, I want to end sort of talking about the show Queer Eye. My dad, God bless him. So I think he's MF. I think he's an audio ENFP kind of guy. Blast last. But like he played a lot of sports growing up. He was a 4-letter varsity athlete, played football and basketball and baseball, ran track, played golf a bunch, does a lot of woodworking. Like, he has strong, his masculine SI for being at the bottom of his function stack is real fucking good. Like, it's real fucking good. So, and again, he's a boomer. He grew, born in, the late 40s. So he grew up in a time where like fucking men were men, right? And we're Italian too. So like, it's a whole thing. He fucking loves Queer Eye. And the more I talk, and he, not only that, he loves Jonathan. Jonathan's his favorite. And it's been really interesting to sort of like get to know my father over the years and sort of see him with not, 8-year-old eyes. Because what's so fascinating about him is that he has such a respect for feminine energy. Obviously, he loves my mother, who is just feminine energy incarnate. She is nothing but feminine energy. But he loves like the little tiny dogs, and he loves Jonathan Van Ness, and he loves like, you'll catch him sometimes, like watching a figure skating thing. And you're like, what the? He's like, I don't know. I'm into it right now. What do you want from me? Right. And so sort of seeing sun energy and moon energy, right? Because you got these 5 men, right? And I put that in quotation marks. I believe JVN has recently, so his Wikipedia page still refers to him as he. So he is non-binary but prefers the gender pronouns he, him, and his, but is okay with being referred to as she or her, they, and them. So for the purposes of the argument, I'm just gonna say, how am I gonna put this? People who identify with he, and there is a lot of masculine energy in that show, right? Karamo Brown in particular, like that dude has a lot of sun energy. And the whole show has not, I've been talking to my parents about it, and it's been so fascinating to watch this show through their eyes. What makes the show work and really tick is it has nothing to these men to be nice to people. That's their job. Their job is to come in and just fucking be nice to somebody for a week. And that's what makes these extraordinary results, because they come in with so much sun energy. And again, at the beginning of every episode, they go into the apartment or the home or whatever, and just like throw the shit everywhere and play with the bathroom things, and like they just make a mess, and they're playing the boys having fun archetype, right? And they come in real hot. They come in with a lot of sun energy. And then over the course of the week or the 44-minute TV show episode, they're just being nice. That's it. It's when was the last time someone was nice to you? Really think about that. When was the last time that somebody in your life was nice to you? I want you to think about that for a second, because I think it's really important to understand the many different ways that masculine energy and feminine energy can manifest. Because masculine energy can be very, very cruel. It can burn too hot. It can scorch. It can blaze. It can burn a forest down. But moon energy can be cruel also. If you get too much moon energy, you're reflecting back and forth. It gets too cool, and you eventually start to build up this tidal wave that just swallows you, right? So you need both. You cannot go through life without both. So however that manifests in you, whether it's masculine sensory and feminine intuition, or masculine intuition and feminine sensory, I encourage all of you to embrace both of those sides of you and to be willing to have that flexibility to go, okay, I lead with a lot of masculine energy. What happens when I lead with feminine energy? Or vice versa. You know what? I lead with a lot of feminine energy. What happens if I lead with masculine energy, with sun energy, right? And it's eventually when you work those muscles enough, you can transition really seamlessly between them. And it's not, it gets to the point where it's not even a thing. And you're able to walk into a room or a space or a situation or a YouTube video, and you can just flow and you're like, oh, right, this is how humans were meant to be. And I know that a lot of our, cultural ideas of partnership and whatever sort of have historically encouraged people to find their lane and let their partner find the other lane. But now you're veering towards codependence. And we're not trying to we're not playing the codependent game. We're just not. That's not what we're doing. So if you're just starting your journey of personal growth, and I'm going to end with this. If we're starting your journey of personal growth and you don't know where to start with yin and yang. That's it. Just start with yin and yang. What does your masculine side look like? How does it manifest? How does it want to interact with the world? What kind of sun energy do you bring to the table? What kind of moon energy do you bring to the table? Do you feel more comfortable with sun energy or moon energy, right? Start with those questions. And now you at least have an inroad, not only to yourself. And look, if that's as far as you get and you're just like, fuck objective personality, I'm gone. You've done some work. You've gotten something out of this. And I'm thrilled for it. But that'll start to give you this inroad of binary coin, right? You're looking for complementary opposites. Sun energy complements moon energy. Moon energy complements sun energy. You need both all the time in varying degrees, right? Maybe you need 70% moon, 30% sun, but you always got a little of both. You're never absent one or the other. All right. That's all I got for today. Thank you for making it through this long-ass series. This next chunk of videos, they're going to be a little bit more on the vlogging side, a little more on the personal reflection side, personal growth side. If you have questions about specific parts, let me know. I would love to make, sort of split up the content between hardcore video, like science-y type videos and this more hippy-dippy personal growth stuff. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment. I'd love hearing from you guys. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.